Okay. Welcome back, everybody. It is Friday. Woo. Boy is asleep. I think everything's working. Oops, that's not good. I just opened Audition. I don't need that. I don't need that. Get out of here. Get. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Apparently, it's the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy IX, which was one of my favorite games in my youth, which makes me feel old. So, oops. Hope everybody's having a good day. It is Friday. This is the viewer suggestion. Can warm up with a little rugby here. I think we'll do a full episode here. The kid's asleep now, which is good. When he wakes up, we might let him draw a little bit or something. And then I have a plane to catch, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Weirdly quiet today. That's alright, though. That is alright. We haven't drawn a squart rugby in a while, so maybe we'll do that. Sock puppet rugby. Always a crowd pre. Blah, blah, blah. Can't talk today. Can't talk for shit. Oh, YouTube analytics. You hurt my heart. Someone jumped in for 15 seconds and then left. I think I've been forgetting to draw Rugby's eyebrows lately. I think I've forgotten how to draw Rugby's eyebrows. That's a thing. Whatever. Sorry, I got distracted. I got distracted by looking at art. Corvus, welcome in.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Alright, I guess. Storm blew in last night and woke me up.
Knock over any trees?
No, just lots of thunder and lightning rattling the house.
Gotcha.
Lots of wind.
Bum, 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 bum. Put those rugweeds over there. I think we're just going to jump into it today. I forgot to look up the bugbears.
If they are a thing, it's probably only third party on the SRD. Because Archives just has them listed as monsters.
Gotcha. I don't like that my video isn't the top search when you type in bugbears.
What is?
Sinister Heroes? D&D 5e Bugbear Guide. That's a name. That's a name for a video, I suppose. I guess I'm like 4th on the list. That's not terrible.
No.
D&D shorts beat me. Dang it.
Except in D&D Bugbears, yours is the first one that pops up for me.
Alright. Maybe it doesn't prioritize
then
mine because I, it's
made
me.
it. Yep.
Alright, I was looking for the sheet. I'm very distractible today. I don't know what's going on. Brains all over the place. I don't know if anybody's just not in chat or just quiet.
I don't.
2.
It just shows me watching.
Yeah, it's a weird slow day.
So.
Maybe it's because I'm actually on time for once.
Yeah. And you did tell people that you're going to be gone.
Yeah. That's
so.
Good. We're drawing a cleric with a holy hand grenade. No race given. Nothing.
Human they shall be. Or a goblin.
I was thinking goblin, yeah.
I was actually kind of curious if, like, 2 even had bugbears. It's like just knocking around, and they do, and they even met into the remaster stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, I wonder what their bugbears were like when they had them as player ancestries, and they just didn't.
Do they have?
Like,
I don't. Is the advanced race guide out for Pathfinder? 2e?
yeah, that came out like 6 years ago.
Okay, I think they might be doing a remaster of it.
But they also weren't in that.
Interesting.
And all the ancestries that were in it have already been redone.
Okay.
With the Player Core 2 and 1, so.
They didn't rebuild it because they just wanted to use the beastkin heritage.
Is that like some official answer or something?
Yeah. So they're weregoblins. They're beastkin, but you pick goblin traits.
That don't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Elliot, welcome in.
Yep.
What if I do like the... Oh, no, I can't do that. Dang it. I was going to say I was going to give this guy like one of those abbot hats. One of these puppies. Maybe I still will. But I was going to say the ears wouldn't poke out, but I can do what I want.
I was looking at their stat blocks that they have as a enemy. And they have this ability called Bushwhack.
Okay.
Single action, the bugbear can stride 10 feet and attempt a grapple a creature that they are undetected by. If they succeed, they also deal their unarmed strike damage to that creature.
That's pretty cool.
They also have a thing, a trait. It's not an action or anything, but just a weird passive that they have called Mauler. They gain a +3 circumstance bonus to damage rolls against creatures they have grabbed.
Does that mean with the grapple, they grab them, then do the damage and get the bonus damage?
So even if they don't grapple them, they just grab them, they still get like the bonus damage.
Interesting.
Because grab and grapple are two different things.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, in 5e, like, a bugbear ambushing you is like a good way to kill a wizard. Just like... Surprise. Sneaky death.
But they did the thing that I really don't like that they've been doing with the goblinoids. They just stretched it out and made it hairy.
They definitely look more animalistic, which I think is fine. I'm a big fan of beefy bugbears, but I think that I like the hobgoblin aspect of bugbears. Like I'd be fine with bugbears and hobgoblins being the same race, just that they're like two different classes for that race. Instead of like centurion, you're a hobgoblin. Instead of a rogue, you're a bugbear.
Apparently not all of them are like as gangly as that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one called a bone bleacher bugbear.
Bone bleacher? Okay.
They're a type of poisoner. They're a level 12 creature.
Alright.
And they kind of remind me a bit like Torback, but not gangly.
Is Torbeck supposed to be a bugbear?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we ever figure out why he's got those weird things on his back?
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
I don't either. I was watching one of them.
I feel like this will be a question for Jared. Bugbears are people too. Exactly. I ain't arguing they're not. I like bugbears.
I should draw more bugbear. guess I could make an updated video. Why is there no bugbear in 2E?
Yeah. Here's how to play a bugbear in 2E. Take a hobgoblin and take the beastskin heritage. Or, I would argue maybe taking the Knoll ancestry and reflavoring it.
See, I'm surprised that's not a beastskin.
Well, beastskin are werepeople.
Right.
They're shifters.
Right, I'm saying
Gnolls
like,
aren't.
I think gnolls should be
But
in
gnolls
that
aren't cursed.
classification, even though they're like stuck in gnoll form.
Yeah. But gnolls aren't like inherently like cursed.
Well, they are. They're
Non-Pathfinder
they're not
anymore.
in Pathfinder. You're right.
In D&D, they're hyenas that
They're
fall behind
dragonkin.
Inogu.
They're mutated flesh warped dragonkin, but
Yep.
but hyenas instead of dragons. Why they got so weird?
I don't know. It's like, let's see. I don't know if we really know the origin stories in 2E or Pathfinder. I know, like, people assume that Lamashtu created them,
Oh, that's right. I think I
but
heard that.
it's unclear because not all gnolls worship Lamashtu. So it may just, she kind of claimed that she created them, and
Do they
there's,
still
like,
explode
they
out of
did.
hyenas?
no, that's in D&D. That's a very D&D specific thing.
Right.
Because that happens in Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
3.
But,
It's a
that-
little
that's
weird
very
when you're like
Lamashtu
the
way to
dirge.
Be born. Respect the bugbear.
Remember, only you can prevent dungeon fires. Kill the wizard.
Smokey the bugbear.
Yep. I do like they added a few more heritages for the gnolls in the remaster stuff.
When did
It
that
actually
come
gave
out?
them a bunch of new feats.
When did the remaster come out?
So they came out in Player Core 2 in that book.
Okay.
I think along with Hobgoblins and Tengu. I think Kitsune as well. Which is kind of like Player Core 2 was meant to be like the remaster of the Advanced Players Guide, sort of.
Yeah.
Even though there was like 3 classes that were like in the core rulebook, but they're like, these are a little complicated, so we're going to put them as in Player Core 2.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yep. Apparently they've added a Sanguimancer,
Okay.
so a Blood Mage
Mhm.
archetype. However, the Demiplane Nexus thing doesn't have like its entry in the archetype stuff, but like if you search feats, you can find it. So I guess it's still slowly being updated.
Weird.
And like, it's weird. So you get like these sanguinary hit points.
Not
Which are-
temporary hit points?
They're a type of temporary hit point, but they have a few exceptional rules to them. Like you can't have more than your level in them,
Okay.
and you can sacrifice them to do things like, I think one of the first abilities you get is a blood shield that you can like, gives you a big AC bump and you can use shield block with it.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
So far, there's only like outside the dedication, there's only like 3 feats for it. So maybe with as this adventure path goes on, they'll add more to it.
Maybe.
Because it's all vampire related.
I rolled another 2, which is now a gelatinous cube with a wizard hat.
Nice. Did it eat the wizard? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it a wizard?
Should it be on the cube or in the cube? Let's put it on the cube.
It's a polymorph wizard that turned into a gelatinous cube.
Ooh, that's an interesting concept.
It's not too far off from what my slime wizard wanted to be. He didn't really want to be. He didn't want to be a slime, but like, I was probably going to take like, I think there's ooze form. I think that's a spell.
Okay, I was gonna say nobody wants to be a slime, but
no. He was very like obsessed with slimes.
Weird choice, but okay.
I don't know. Gnomes and but in Pathfinder are supposed to have like weird obsessions. Like, it's what keeps them alive.
Like Darth Maul.
Not wrong. Yeah, like gnomes, because they're like originally from the Feywild or the First World. The normal world is like incredibly dull for them. So they had to find like ways of like they basically keep in good spirits, so they come up with like weird obsessions, like I want to collect all these things while also doing this and a bunch of other stuff. And that kind of keeps them rejuvenated. If they don't, and they allow like the dullness of the world creep in, they start to like bleach.
Oh.
And it's like a weird curse that they have is called the bleaching.
The bleaching.
And if normally like it kills the gnome, but like some of them are able to survive and they become bleachlings.
I've seen that.
So like all their hair is like grayed out or white, like it like just sags down. Like there's one I've seen where it has they have really long eyebrows and just like they sag down.
This world wears on me. You just
Yeah,
look
basically.
Super depressed all the time. Too real.
There's no like real way of like playing them in 2E yet, because you could in 1E.
Gnomes or bleachlings?
Bleachlings.
Okay.
Because they were just like essentially would be like a weird heritage thing for a gnome.
Okay. What's your heritage? Depression.
Yep.
Crippling depression. You become one of the members of the Cure. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, it's a cut I don't even know, so.
There you go, Brian. Dark crystal it up. It would be fun to build a world where humans don't exist. Just to let people play around with it for a little bit. We're working on it. Yeah, fair enough.
Big oof. But briefly going back to the gnolls, I think my favorite one is called the dog gnoll.
How's that not just a werewolf?
As a hair. No. So you're built like almost like a prehistoric like hyena slash dog, and you could hop down on all fours and run for and gain a speed boost of 30 feet.
Huh. Sig, welcome in. Sentient flesh gloves? Does that have a race class to it? Put it on the list. Aren't all leather gloves flesh gloves?
Yes.
Just a normal pair of gloves. Oop, that made it look weird. I was not a big fan of that movie.
It got real dark at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, not just at the end, but like halfway through the movie, it just got real dark. I was like, okay, this is not a super happy, fun movie. I'm glad I'm not the only one that remembers it.
Dark Crystal may be the shots fired for goth kids? What do you mean? Like if you don't like Dark Crystal? I was talking about the
We're talking about We're Back to Dinosaur Story.
yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the movie starts off real scary. That whole movie is just weird. Dark Crystal's just weird. Never saw the Genesis story yet. It's like We're Back, is that what it's called?
We're Back at Dinosaur Story. Then there's like a creepy circus with a bunch of guy that has a screw for an eyeball.
Yeah, that guy's weird. Is he a bird?
He has birds. They eat him in the end.
No, I thought he was a giant bird monster.
Oh no.
But maybe
I
I always conflated him with Psycrow from Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, I don't think he was like a crow monster because he gets eaten by crows. They like swarm him in the end and they disappear.
Sounds like crow magic to me. Alright. banging through these today. Summoner's Quest for Gelatinous Cube Tray. Upgrade all your amphibious creatures to cube form. The story of Jurassic Park 3 or 4 dinosaurs are not out in modern times. I mean, that's all of Jurassic Park, yeah. I'm trying to reread The Lost World. I don't remember how not good that book is. So I'm trying to piece it together. But 1. A bee, not a humanoid bee, just a giant bee. College of Dance. All right. Oh, good morning, kid. Oh, not good morning. Back to sleep. Okay.
And the College of Dances are now a thing for Bard in 5e.
Took him long enough. My issue with Bard,
it's kind of like a monk.
yeah. So
Almost.
that's where I was going to go with this. My issue with Bard is that people keep trying to play Bard as like a fighter class, and D&D and Pathfinder haven't either A, leaned hard enough into it. Hi, kid. What's up? Hi. Yeah, you're good. You okay? Oh, so sad. Sorry, 1 second. This might be as far as we get. I don't know. What I was trying to get at was, for bards, the bards should be very powerful in their ability to buff the party, like AOE spells, control spells, debuffing, because they have to give up their weapon to perform, right? So they can't use a weapon, so they should have their magic should be potent to counteract that, kind of like how wizards are. The problem with that is that everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna be a bard, I'm gonna have a crossbow and a sword, and my musical instrument is singing. And it's like, okay, that's fair, right? Like, that's fine. But then that became the norm. Most people don't have an instrument. Or they make something like battle lute. And it's like, it's an instrument and a weapon. It's like, okay, once again, we're now not having trade-offs.
Well, that's because bards are supposed to be jack of all trades.
Right.
That's how they've always been presented. They're meant to be a little fightery, not fightery, but like they can attack people, they can perform, and do skill checks and like do magic. And it's kind of what they were meant to do. And then in 5e, they made them full casters. And basically, they're kind of like, I don't want to say like clerics, but like, they're like the arcane version of a cleric.
Right.
In 5e. And then Pathfinder, they just, it's like, let's rip all that out. And just make them a pure support class.
Yeah, sorry, bro, I had to mute. Because the bard instruments have the doubles as a dancing
which
pole.
Everyone loves and hates at the same time.
Yeah, and I really think what they should have done, and this is just my opinion on bards, which I know a lot of people disagree with it. Like, they should have leaned into that aspect of it, of like, maybe the bards just aren't good at fighting. They're good at literally everything else, and just suck at fighting. And a good example of that is like Witcher. What's his name from The Witcher? Dandelion.
Dandelion.
What his name is.
Yeah. Or Yasker. And I think Yasker is his name in the book. But
kid. Holy shit. I've been trying to really.
Yasker means dandelion.
Sorry, what's that?
I think his name is Yasker, but in the games he's called Dandelion.
Okay.
Because Yasker, I'm pretty sure, means dandelion in Polish.
That would make sense. Yeah, I think in the show they.
Yeah, but like he isn't like he doesn't do anything. He's just a troubadour.
Right, but like I like that.
But he isn't a bard.
That's okay. We're either splitting hairs or just not agreeing on something. If that's what you think.
Bards are a magical class. He doesn't do anything. He just sings songs.
And
he's just a musician.
Think that's good.
That's not a class. That's a job.
All right. I don't know how to have this conversation then, so I guess we'll just move on. I don't know how to draw a bee, I've discovered. Chat's really empty. Yeah, it's a slow day. It's a slow day today. Which is okay. It's totally fine.
I guess all I'm really saying is he could be any class and still just be a musician. He fills the tropes of bards, but he doesn't have to be a bard. Anyone can do that. That's all I'm getting at.
But so this is my issue with, like, I think it's the same thing that we've had the argument with, like, psychics and stuff, right? It's like, I think music in itself should be part of a magical repertoire, right? Like, so, and that's why I get a little frustrated with people like, I'm going to use my performance to do blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's magic. You're asking me to do magic. Like, you don't get to just roll a die to do magic. So I mean, that's where the mechanical components of magic come from. But magic itself doesn't have to be something that is not inane. You just have to have the ability to do it. Does that make sense? Like blending the functionality of mechanics, game mechanics. I don't care what they do, but you need that in your character class. So while the bard doesn't necessarily need to be able to cast fireball, they need to have that potential if it's on their spell list. I feel like I'm not describing this well.
You're not fully making sense to me, because it's like, what are you meaning?
Yeah, let's put it this way. I think bards should be very inane. And what I mean by that is, I play a guitar, I go around, I make music, I know lore, I know stuff. That is inherently powerful. So we give them spell slots. But it's not the same spell slot that a wizard, like, goes to school for. Does that make sense? It's not the same. Their spells should not be the same type of magic as wizards.
And it's not, though.
Yeah, which is, I like that. I like the Pathfinder kind of went that way. Versus D&D that's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it.
Well,
let them cast lightning bolt.
It's still like that in D&D, though. It's implied that you learn your magic, like, by picking it up, like, from songs and history and everything like that. The college is just a name. It doesn't imply that it's a real place. It's just a way of, like, all the bard subclasses are called colleges, all the wizard subclasses are called schools. They don't necessarily mean you're going to a physical place to learn the same stuff.
So what I'm inferring is that specifically him in The Witcher, like his ability to play music in a way that gets people to let him join high-end society and be famous, and his charisma, all of that is magic. Even though in the Witcher series it's like that, there's not a magic system for that. So in 5e, the magic system is there because it's a game, but I feel like just the general charismatic functions of being a bard are those same things, even though they aren't inherently using the magic system. Flavorful magic spells is what it wants to be.
I always just chalked it up as him sleeping with everyone and being charming.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think that's magical.
I think it is, and that's what I'm getting at.
I don't think personalities are magic.
So, and that's what I really liked about the bards being like non-combatants, is they should be they're off. Like, I'm going to use my performance roll, which I can do once a turn to give everybody a buff. Should be powerful enough that you don't feel like you're losing out of swinging a sword, right? That's the biggest thing that I'm getting at. And so when people are like, well, I also have a lute, and so I'm going to do the same thing, it's like, no, you're not. This guy, that's what makes it a class, right? Is like they're pushing their charisma into a direction that should be way more powerful than something that anybody can do by picking up a lute. And that's the thing that drives me crazy. Is anyone can play a guitar, but a bard makes it a weapon. And I feel like that gets kind of shuffled to the wayside a lot because people just want to swing their swords.
Yeah. I think it's just people want to play a skald, which is like a battle bard.
Barbarian bard. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no easy way of doing that anymore.
And
so, like,
fair.
they try really hard to make it work. Because a lot of people really like the skald class in Pathfinder, or just that type of vibe of being, like, a battle bard.
Yeah, and I think,
like,
the Swashbuckler
the College
does an
of
okay
Valor
job at it,
exists.
but the Swashbuckler doesn't get that really good bard feeling, I don't feel, even if you take the subclass. So, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things.
I think in 2e, I guess for me, I'm of the opinion bards don't have to be, like, tied to music or song or instruments. I think because they should be tied to art, like art as in the broader classical meaning of different things. Like, being an orator was considered an art, and stuff like that. I like that type of bard. I don't want to be pigeonholed into being like, well, you're the bard, time to mince around with a lute. I was like, no.
Well, so like the the one I am, the one my bard is like he tells stories. Like that's his magic, right? That's how the magic works. Is I start telling a story or I start spinning a tale. I picked a bunch of stuff like that, which I really dig. I like that. But once again, like it doesn't require that I have a weapon, period. Even though I'm just like talking. I think I've flavored that character to like use the drum for his head, which is fun. But yeah, you can really
and like
go
Russ
a
said,
ton of different directions.
They're cheerleaders. I just don't think everyone wants to play a bard as a cheerleader.
Right, but so yeah, I agree. I think that's fine. I don't want to make it sound like I'm arguing that. Not arguing against that. Whatever. I agree with you. But like, I think that if you're not doing that, then you're not a bard. Like, what do you want? What do you want out of it? And that's what I'm saying. Like the swashbuckler works really well, and you use performance for like acrobatics and jumping, but it's not necessarily.
Are you thinking of the College of Swords? Because swashbuckler in 5e is a rogue subclass.
You mean in 2e?
No, I'm talking about 5e.
I'm talking about Pathfinder.
D&D. Because swashbucklers are just a whole class, and you don't have to use performance for anything for swashbucklers, unless you decide to do the really bad battle dancer.
Okay. So
which is what your friend went with.
Let's restart this. Yeah, that's what my friend went with.
Let's clears up some confusion on my part.
So, kid, you do not shove that into my face.
Because I know you were talking about your bard, Cranberry.
The issue I'm having is you're like saying like, oh, I don't want to play a bard like a cheerleader. It's like that's the class. So then you're augmenting it with other things, and I think most people augment it with swashbuckler. Would be my argument.
Okay.
Because then it makes you more sword focused, and you still have some stuff you can do where you're like performing and jumping around. I think that's pretty common. Oh my god, kid, what is going on here? What's wrong?
Yeah, it also doesn't like. I guess it. I don't know what.
So Sig just said this. Battle dancers specifically for gladiator archetypes. I like the performative combat. Right, that's a different thing. That's a cool thing to talk about. And like the sword dancer for wizard, blade dancer, sword dancer, blade dancer. I can't remember.
Blade singer.
Blade singer. Yeah. Is combat oriented, where you're just doing fanciful sword flourishes, right? Like that make things work right. So like the key thing about a bard in my mind is the cheerleading, is the buffing and the crowd control and the manipulation of combat. And I think a lot of people just are pinned into performance, which is what you're talking about. But like a performance can be anything, and so it doesn't like. I think that's maybe where we're getting confused at. Is like, what's the intent of the performance? Because like, yeah, I'm gonna do my sword dance, which chops you into pieces. It's like it's choosing to use the performance skill over something else, versus intent of the use of the magic. So I would say whatever the guy's name from Witcher is, he is being charismatic and manipulative, not in like a demeaning way, but he's able to navigate this world in a way that gives him access to Geralt, right? And I think that should be the focus of the magic. Like he's supporting people, he is inspiring people, and I think that should be a bard. I think I love him as a bard archetype, but he's a non-combatant, and that's the thing I'm getting at. Is I think that's totally fine. So if you want to play a combative bard, why? That's my question to you.
Because sometimes doing a composition song doesn't feel like it's enough. I'm sorry, okay. Boosting people's AC by 1 point doesn't feel like it's enough.
Okay, so that goes back to my original argument thing that I was trying to say, is that for bards, and I think they've done it poorly, that should feel good enough that you don't need to swing a sword. And I feel like they haven't done that well enough, so people divert to the sword, and then they're like, bards suck. And it's like, yeah, it's because they're basically not... You're not playing it right because they're not built strong enough to feel good the way they're supposed to be built.
I would argue more people love second edition's bard than people hate it. It's just me, Dagon, Druid hate it. It's us, and like maybe 10 other people. Everyone loves it. They believe that the 1 point or 2 points at level 9 and above is great and perfect as it is. And it's like, it doesn't feel good for me. It doesn't feel that impactful when we're fighting like a quote-unquote extreme encounter and adding +1 to a saving throw isn't helping. That's my point. I think everyone is in like your camp, and except for, I should specify people who are quote unquote min-maxers who are like love the bar for its bunch of +1 bonuses that don't stack with each other.
Right, and I think that's kind of... So I think we're kind of in agreement here. But it's just like two different perspectives of what people want from a bard.
Yeah.
So like I think the bard needs to be buffer because it should be interesting, and other people, and I think you're saying that they should buff the other stuff because bard isn't interesting in general, right?
Yeah. Like I think bards are interesting, but I think the things that I'm missing is honestly like I wish Pathfinder had something like the inspiration system.
Yeah.
I like that. I get it's a random roll, but like it feels a little bit more impactful than adding a +1 circumstance bonus that doesn't stack with any of your other +1 circumstance bonuses, because that's like and like don't stack.
Right. I think I agree. I think that would be really helpful with that. Like the champion has some really cool stuff that I think the bard could benefit from, like design wise, as well as I think the bard should have
they
a
have
lot
like
more...
little to no reactions. I think if they really like, if they want to make a good like magical support class, they need to give them like some really impactful reactions instead of just actions that they can only do on their turn. Because as far as I know, the bard doesn't have like hardly any reactions.
Yeah, bard. I think reactions are the thing that Pathfinder needs to amp itself up for, especially with the way that aiding others. Like I think that needs to be built more into the character. Like giving bards the ability to like prevent people from getting... Like, anytime someone gets a morale boost, like, cool, like, liberating stance for the champion would be great as just a general bard thing. Like, you see somebody get feared, try to unfear them, you know, just as a reaction. Kid, you are driving me crazy. I don't know if I can finish this today, because this kid is just... I don't know what is going on. He just refuses to let me put him down anywhere, and he just keeps screaming at me, so I might have to get going. Oh, kid, why? You calming down? Nope, not coming down.
I'm looking at the bard feats, and almost all of them are like focus spells. A good chunk of them are just adding focus spells. Or like adding additional things to add when you use a focus spell.
I'm gonna have to call it here. This kid is about to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
So, sorry everybody. I didn't get to finish this dancing bee. I really wish Bard had more cool shit to do, and I wish that it wasn't. My issue with the focus points is that there aren't enough focus points to make the Bard really feel successful. Because of what you're saying with like the +1s, right? Like you can use a focus point to give everybody a +2, and it's like that's not enough. Like You like,
Yeah.
I want to use a focus point to let somebody re-roll something, right? Like a bonus hero point would be awesome, or vicious mockery, right? Just like, oh nope, we're just gonna slam that
Yeah,
through.
there's fortune/misfortune effects. I don't think are common enough in 2E yet.
Right, and that's what I think is missing. Like, they need that control. They need that like kind of group debuff stuff that some of their spells have. Some of their spells do have it, but their spell slots and their focus points just aren't amped up enough to make people not want to use a sword. Which maybe they just need to make a performative sword gladiator again, which could be fun. So, all right, I'm gonna stop this stream because I'm just constantly muting and unmuting myself because this kid is driving me crazy. Then I'm gonna do a quick food break, see if this boy wants some food, change a diaper, and then I'll be hanging out in the Discord afterwards because I have some work to do today. So we'll see if we can get him to calm down. But man, I don't know what's going on here. So I'm gonna go check that out. We'll go from there. Thaumaturge is a better bard than Bard at some points. I do think Thaumaturge definitely has that Bard area of it, of like knowledge-wise, which I feel like they might have removed from Bard a little bit. Whereas in 5e, you know, having the, like, you can roll anything forever, that's cool. I like that. But Thaumaturge has its own problems. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about the short stream today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back next week. Hopefully be a normal week. Oh, now you're fine? What's going on? I'm just not allowed to draw, apparently. When I try to draw, he starts getting mad. Maybe that will fix you. Here, let's try this. What if I do this, and I let you draw for a little bit? Would that make you happy? Here. The live stream might just end because he might click a button. So we'll see. Yeah, go ahead. How do I move my... I need to hide my taskbar. There, that'll work. Nope. Okay, go. Go ahead. Yeah.
Now you won't do it. I think the thing that the Thaumaturge needs is some nice action compression.
Act like haste? What do you mean?
No, like compressing actions into one action. So like the recall knowledge. They should have like a thing where you can attack and recall knowledge, which they may have. I just don't ever see it brought up.
Yeah, we have. I don't know. Have you played a Thaumaturge above level 10 yet? Because I've only played one up to like level 4.
I have.
Okay. I couldn't remember what level we were when we were playing those guys.
Yeah, he may have been level 9, but close enough to 10.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of that stuff starts happening around 10. Maybe we need to check that. Because like 3, you get an ability. 5, you get an ability that works off of that ability, and then 10, you start just getting free abilities.
Yeah. Because I think the biggest thing against the Thaumaturge is much like the
Bard?
No, not Bard, but the Investigator, where there's a lot of like you have to do like a bunch of extra rolls to like get your stuff going.
Right.
Yeah, and in your case, like where we're like kind of fighting like weird higher level creatures, but they're lower level, and we keep forgetting to adjust those recall knowledge DCs. It's a little difficult to like get that off because, unlike other classes, a Thaumaturge can actually capitalize off their recall knowledge by like applying their weaknesses to it. Or at least knowing what they are. Because you really want like get like a critical success on a recall knowledge,
like
so you can like apply it.
The weirdest thing about those classes that require that kind of stuff is like it makes sense if you're running around town fighting goblins, right? But then as soon as you start fighting bigger things, your character's just turned off. It's just like, yeah, you no longer are going to get criticals because they're too high. You're no longer going to be getting successes at a rate at which it's like functional to use. Well, you broke the pen, kid. Good job.
Raggy. But yeah, I like the thaumaturge. I think you just have to like have a good GM who's aware that you're a thaumaturge. Okay. So it's kind of wrong about the recall knowledge stuff a little bit. Usually gives success to like be able to apply their weaknesses. If you get a critical success, you basically learn all the weird stuff about the creature.
So getting a critical success shouldn't happen very often.
No, it just, when you do, you learn all their weaknesses and resistances and immunities and the amounts of those and any their unusual weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Child.
Okay, we're gonna call it here.
Yep.
I'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Catch you later.